Hello everyone. I am Shaila Srinath and I will be teaching you grammar. So I think we all learn grammar right from our primary schooling, and the basic in any grammar is nouns. So that's what we are going to learn today. We are going to learn about nouns. Nouns are also called as naming words. Why they are called as naming words is because they speak about the names of everything in this world, in this universe. It can be people, it can be places, it can be animals, it can be fruits, vegetables, colors, buildings, mountains, oceans, anything. They all have a name and they all come under the naming words. That is why they are called as nouns. So the definition of a noun is that it is a naming word. All right. Having learned that, let us move to the next important thing, that we all know that the noun is the name of a person, place, flowers, fruits, vegetables, everything. And at this time, we need to remember that the definition of a noun is not limited. We should remember that everything has a name, and anything that has a name comes under the noun. So please don't restrict the definition of a noun only to person, place, animal, or thing. Even an insect is a noun. So we need to remember that the definition of noun is very wide, it's not very limited. And why we need nouns or why we need names is that we need to recognize everything in this world. So to recognize, we need names. We cannot call everything with a single name. For example, if the Himalayas, the Arabian Ocean, and you and your teacher, everybody had a same name, it would have been very difficult to identify what we are talking about. Hence, nouns are there to help us to recognize everything in this world. So, the next thing is why we need nouns is we need nouns for recognition, to recognize. If I need to recognize a person, I need to know the name of the person. If I need to recognize a place, I need to know the name of a place. And also to learn about them. So nouns are also used for knowledge. And then we need to categorize things. We need to differentiate between people, between animals, between birds, between insects, between flowers, everything else. So we use nouns for recognition, knowledge, and to differentiate. Okay, let's look at some examples now. Now, in the first sentence, it says, Robert is my brother. Second sentence says, my aunt lives in Delhi. Third sentence says, my mother bought some carrots. Now, when we look at these sentences, we are not categorizing the nouns into anything. All that we have done is we have just identified the nouns. Say, for example, in the first sentence, Robert and brother are nouns. In the second one, aunt and Delhi are nouns. Whereas in the third one, carrots and mother are nouns. We have only identified the naming words here. We have done nothing to do with the category here. All right? Okay. The next thing we need to know is that the nouns are into different kinds. So long we understood what is a noun and why everything needs to have a name. Now, these nouns are of different kinds And the major categories are common, proper, collective, abstract, and material. We can classify the nouns under these five major categories. Now, understanding so much, let us do a quick exercise before we move on. So, for that, we need to recollect or do a recap of what we learned. So, the first thing we learned is that noun is a naming word. The second thing is that everything in this world has a name. The third thing we learned is that even a small insect also has a name. And the definition of a noun is not restricted. The definition of a noun is very wide. Everything in this world falls under the category of nouns. That is why the noun is the first basic concept of grammar. Unless we know the names, we cannot move ahead. And nouns are very important part of a sentence too. The next thing we learned is that there are different kinds of nouns. The major kinds are common, proper, collective, abstract, and material. These are further divided into many more categories, but as of now, we are looking at only the five major categories. So, I want all of us to answer these simple questions before we move on. The first question is, what is a noun? The second one, does everything in the world have a name? Third one, what's the other name of nouns? In the fourth one, what we are supposed to do is we are just going to identify the noun. We are not going to put them in different category. We're just going to identify the nouns. And in the fifth question, we are going to answer which are the different kinds of nouns. I'm sure it's not very difficult. All right. So let's move on. Okay. So in the kinds of nouns, if we can see the slide again, the first one we said is the common noun. Now, what is a common noun? What do you mean by common? The word common means something which is seen, you know, everywhere. So the common noun is something that we find everywhere and in more number. For example, I have given here, there are many trees in this garden. She has many toys. My mother bought some saris. Here, I am not talking about what trees are there, in which garden, what toy, and what kind of saris. I am writing in general that there are trees in some garden and somebody has a lot of toys and mother bought some saris. Here we are not specifying about any particular noun. That is why it's called as a common noun. Now the next category is proper noun. First we learnt about the common noun, which is in common, which is found everywhere and more in number. Opposite of that is proper noun. When we speak about a particular name or a noun, then we call it as a proper noun because here we are talking about a particular person, a particular place, a particular thing, a particular flower, and so on. For example, there are many mango trees in the Brindavan garden. So here I am telling there are trees, but what trees? Mango. Mango is the name of a fruit. So it's a proper noun. Where? In the Brindavan garden. Brindavan is the name given to the garden. So here, mango and Brindavan become proper nouns because we are talking about a particular kind of tree and a particular place. In the second one, I have many Barbie toys. You have toys, which is common. But what kind of toys? Barbie. Barbie is the particular name of a toy. So here we are speaking about the particular kind of tree, the place, and the kind of toys that a person has. So these come under the proper nouns. The first one was the common noun, which does not talk about anything in particular, it just speaks about something in general. Whereas in the second one, we can see that we are speaking about something in particular. We are talking about a particular kind of tree, particular place, and a particular kind of toy. Okay? So these are the two different kinds of nouns. Though we have another three more to go, but part one of the kind of nouns, we are going to stop here, and the remaining three we shall learn in the next class. Thank you.